Monday, February 8th at approximately 6:30 p.m. And this is the meeting remotely conducted of the Norton Conservation Commission. And as we have done on all of these remote meetings, I'm obligated to read the preamble involving Governor Baker's order that these need to be conducted remotely. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order superseding certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 38, Paragraph 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people who may gather in one place, this meeting of the Norton Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found at the end of the agenda. Members of the public attending this public hearing / meeting virtually will be allowed to make comments if they wish to during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment by raising their hand virtually or pressing *9 and participating by phone. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Norton Cable website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So our first item on the agenda is a notice of intent file number 250-1059 concerning AR Building Company concerning 195 Mansfield Avenue. And this has been continued for multiple prior hearings, and it involves a proposed project to install stormwater management associated with the construction of a 40B apartment building. So do we have a representative of that project, and where do we stand at this point?
Good evening. My name is Brandon Carr with the Preet Engineering. So as the chairman stated, we've been here a number of times. I think we've gone through the project. Recently, it was here last month. We were just waiting to wrap up with the Zoning Board of Appeals. So we received approval from the Zoning Board of Appeals last week. As part of that, we asked for a specific waiver related to the town bylaw from one requirement for an infiltration requirement. We meet the state standard, but the bylaw had an elevated standard that we, due to some soil conditions on the site and groundwater table, couldn't meet, and we've gone through multiple rounds with their peer reviewer. That was the last open item, I would say, and we received approval from the ZBA last week, granting that waiver as well as approval of the project. But so that was really the only update since we were here last. If you have any questions on the project or want me to go through the plans again, we're here for questions. Otherwise, we can turn it back over to the board if they have any questions.
All right. Jen, do you have any comments, questions?
I don't have anything further. But I'm not sure if you want to just hear from John Chesia, our consultant. If he wants to just let us know his comments on the last revision.
All right, John, I see you're on mute. Do you have some comments?
Yeah, sure. This project, I think, they pretty much addressed everything. There were a couple of conditions I would recommend, I guess. And I'll just, if you want me to go through those quick, I can. There's only like 2 or 3.
Sure.
So one of them is they have a system of pipes that would be partially in the seasonal high water table that act as the detention system, and they propose an impervious liner so that it's not constantly filling with groundwater. And I think what you might want to do is condition some sort of a test of that or inspection of that when it goes in, some sort of certification that it would, that it's watertight. It's not an easy thing to install properly and have it not leak. So that would be one condition. I would say to have it certified that it's installed properly and doesn't leak. The other one, I'm sort of skimming through it. I think I have it in my letter several times, but so the way they designed their system, they have an open basin, a storage area of underground pipes under the parking lot, and then they have another underground system of chambers for infiltration, and they're all sort of interconnected. I recommend that and I don't think they're averse to this. They had a design in the way that the computer program works. You sort of have a odd size. So they had a 20.5 by 39.22 feet underground infiltration system of chambers. And I recommended that they just increase the footprint of the stone to 23 by 40. One, it's a little easier to build because it's an even foot and you're digging it with an excavator, so it's not like you're that precise. And by making it a little bit bigger footprint, it would reduce the drain time of the volume below the system's outlet to 72 hours, and that would sort of help comply with recharge requirements to drain within 72 hours. Let's see. Just looking. And I think they did change this on the plan, but I'm not sure if I saw it as a final. One of the catch basins along the building was in series with another catch basin, and catch basins should be offline, so every catch basin should go to a manhole or an outlet, not to another catch basin. So I believe it's CB1 on that, but I think that could be a condition. I don't believe they're averse to that, either the applicant. There's some information to be filled in by the owner for the operation and maintenance plan. That should also be completed, I think. That's sort of a condition, so when they're ready to give you that, they can give you that. There was a couple other little minor ones, that the subsurface infiltration system be separately listed in the O&M, because an infiltration system functions a little different than the underground pipe system, and they should have linked them together. That, and I guess an illicit discharge statement at the end of the job, prior to discharge to the BMPs, is the last one. And I suspect that Jen probably knew all those and might have hit them in her thing already.
Yep, they'd be in the draft. It's just good to get it on record that that's what we were expecting from, instead of having to read the letters all over again. It's good to just summarize in the minutes. And so then Brandon, we would just maybe do an email tomorrow, just confirm the dates of your final plan, the stormwater report, and the O&M. This way they're correct in the order of conditions. And then just that there would be coordination with the zoning board for either John or the ZBA's consulting engineer to inspect the system as it's being constructed.
All right, so any questions from members of the commission?
Yeah, I had a follow-up question for you, John. So you're recommending that the impervious liner be inspected during construction. What measures should we be adding to or have they added any measures to the O&M for any long-term inspections and functionality? Is there a threshold? Is there something they need to look for on a regular basis? And isn't in their O&M?
I guess if it's not working, and it would be kind of hard to tell, but in the spring, you might see water coming out of it if it hadn't been raining. That's probably the only way to tell it had failed without actually digging something up. So, depending upon when, routine inspections of the system are done, you could add that they have a check in, March or April seasonal high water table during a non-rainfall period to see if any water is flowing out of the pipes. In which case, if that happens, then somebody should investigate why, and because we shouldn't be flow if it's not raining. I mean, it should drain out those pipes, within a few hours of the peak of the storm. I mean, it shouldn't be another day later. It should be done, 24 hours, I would say. You got to make sure nothing's running into the parking lot still, but if the parking lot's dry and water's flowing out of the pipes, something's wrong.
Okay. So, Brandon, I assume you'd be okay with that. I mean, it's going into the O&M, so.
Yeah. So we have no issues with any of the conditions John's raised, and we do have inspection requirements for the underground system, but we can add some detail in there about a spring and fall inspection. It's kind of, I think we can determine what the model drain down time is, and then say, 4 days. If it's 4 days after a storm, if there's still water in it, you should investigate further, because that would probably indicate it's either groundwater or something's preventing it from draining out. So we could add some specific language in the O&M. That would be fine.
Yeah, because if you think about it, I mean, a third-party vendor is probably going to be inspecting it, so they have to know why they're inspecting it and what to look for, and then what the implications are if they see the water that's flowing. So I guess it has to be, like ABC, bulletproof, just in case somebody's looking at it that doesn't know what they're looking for or at some point in time.
Okay.
All right, any further questions from members of the commission? If not, we can open it up to any participants in the audience who may have questions about this project. Remember that the procedure is, it's been changed, isn't it? So in order to raise your hand, what's the...
I think
What's the-
you still
Oh,
go to the
reactions.
participants tab.
Yeah, but it's not on the participant tab, but it's in the reactions tab. If you click the reactions tab, and the raise hand option is at the bottom of all of those emojis, which we really don't need emojis, but anyway. So if you want to click your raise hand, otherwise we are going to move on to the next item, which would potentially be closing this hearing. It's all set for, we have all the information we need to close, I'm presuming.
We do. The only thing I forgot to remind you is to list the members of the Conservation Commission for the record when we started the hearing. So if you would
All right, well, I can review that now. Myself, Julian Kadish, Dan Doyle is participating, Lisa Carosa, Jean Blood, and Carrie Schneider, as well as Dan Pearson, are participating members tonight. So seeing no hands up in the participants list, I'm going to entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Mr. Chair, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for file 250-1059.
Second.
We have a motion made by Lisa and seconded by Dan Pearson. So we're going to start with a roll call vote, and Jean, you're up first.
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Dan Doyle?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
And Dan Pearson?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. So thank you guys for participating. We will be considering an order of conditions later in the meeting. As I understand it, not exactly controversial. So, but we'll get to that when we have completed our public hearings. Next item on the agenda is notice of intent, file number 250-1065 concerning Leonard Street Phase 2. And this hearing as well has gone through multiple prior public hearings, and involves a project to construct a road and associated utilities within riverfront area and 100 foot of bordering vegetated wetland. So
They have requested a continuance to February 22nd.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue file 250-1065 to February 22nd, did you say?
Yes.
Yep.
February 22nd.
We have a motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by
Dan Doyle?
Dan Doyle. All right. For continuation of this hearing to February 22nd. So roll call vote, starting with Lisa
Abstain.
and Dan Doyle.
Aye.
I'll throw in an aye. Jean
Aye.
and Carrie
Aye.
and Dan Pearson.
Aye.
All right. And so the motion carries. And the next item is amendment to order of conditions for file number 250-1025 concerning Condyne Engineering Group, continued from January 11th. And this concerns the existing plans for file number 250-1025. So
They have also requested a
Okay.
continuance to February 22nd.
all right, so we need a motion for that.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue file 250-1025 to the February 22nd meeting.
All right, motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by
I'll second that.
Dan Doyle. And so Lisa, you're abstaining, I believe,
Yep, abstain.
and Dan Doyle.
Aye.
I'll throw in an aye. Jean,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
and Dan Pearson.
Aye.
All right, so that motion carries for continuance of file number 250-1025. And then we have amended order of conditions, file 50-1031. This has been continued from January 11th. And where do we stand with this issue?
I believe Alex is on the call.
Hello, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. We were here at the last conservation meeting. We had requested some information regarding the plans that we provided for the retaining wall that was built. That was not part of the order of conditions. And yep, as Silva Engineering laid out the specifications of the wall, there was a question about the contouring that was illustrated. So with that, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
So that was the last bit of information required before we could act on this this final amendment request.
That's correct.
So this seems to be a relatively minor change in activity. It's not clear to me that we actually need to issue an amended order as opposed to it's a minor change. So anyone else have any comments about this?
I just want to confirm the oval to the left of the retaining wall. That's another turtle nest.
That's correct.
Okay. And we're not affecting the turtles.
No.
All right, any further comments or questions from members of the commission? And again, if there are any members of the audience who wish to raise their hands to make a comment, go to the reaction button and press the raise hand icon. But I don't see any, so we can consider closing this discussion about amendment orders. And now we don't feel we need to issue a new set of orders, so do we just need a vote to that effect?
You just vote
Yes.
to accept the approved, the revised plan as the final approved plan, and then I'll just send a letter that memorializes that.
So can we do that since this is not officially, well, shall we close first and then do the motion, or can we do the motion within the meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to close. Did somebody have a question?
No. Hey, go ahead, Dan.
Motion to close file 250-1031.
Okay, motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Lisa. A roll call vote. Lisa, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dan Doyle?
Aye.
And I'll vote an aye. And Jean? Aye. Gary?
Aye.
And Dan Pearson.
Aye.
All right, so we're closed that portion of the meeting, and we can entertain a quick motion to send a letter stating that that an amended order is not necessary, and just need to comply with the existing order.
I'll make that motion to accept the plan with the retaining wall. It's actually a plan change for the file, and it doesn't require an amendment or an amended order of conditions.
All right, motion is made by Lisa and seconded by?
I'll second.
Seconded by Carrie. Roll call vote. Lisa?
Aye.
Dan Doyle?
Aye.
I'll throw in an aye. Jean? Aye. Carrie?
Aye.
And Dan Pearson.
Aye.
Motion carries. Our next item is a notice of intent file number 250-1070 concerning Wyandotte Share Corporation at 0 Rear Eddy Street, map 23, parcel 31. This is continued from January 25th, and it involves a project to construct a common driveway with associated stormwater management, septic system, utilities, retaining walls, and grading for 4 duplex units within 100 foot of bordering vegetated wetlands. So I assume we have a representative of the project.
I expected we would have, but I don't actually see anyone, so I would sort of put this off until the end of the meeting.
One quick comment. The raise hand button is still under the participants tab on my thing. So if somebody in the audience can't find it in reactions, just go to participants and it's at the bottom too.
Yeah, that's how it is on mine as well.
Yeah, it's kind of odd because it's not on mine, it's in the reactions button. So I guess you can look in 2 places.
And I don't have one at all because I'm the host.
I don't see anything.
Well, all right. So since we don't at this time have a representative of this applicant, maybe we can bump it to the end of the line, which is just one more. There's just one more notice. One more hearing. So we can entertain a motion to table this hearing for the moment until the next hearing is.
Well, there's no set time, so I don't know if we need a motion to table it. I think we could just
Well, we'll move on to the next one, and anybody who's here in the audience for this Eddy Street discussion, just be aware we will be coming back to it. So our next item is file number 250-1071 with concerns Mansfield Municipal Airport Commission, and this has been continued from January 25th, and it concerns proposed project to remove obstructive vegetation within the wetland jurisdiction areas that are adjacent the airport. So,
for the record, I have to recuse.
all right, Lisa recuses, and we do have a representative of the applicant. It looks like Bree is on.
Hello.
Now, I just want to clarify. We had a couple of items that were due. what were specifically those items that we needed to complete discussion on?
So there were a few questions that came as a result of, let me back up. My name is Bree Sullivan. I'm with Gale Associates. And I have with me Matt Karen, who is the Director of Aviation of Gale Associates. Stephen Ribbity is also on the call. He is a professional wetland scientist with GZA Geoenvironmental. And we also have our airport planner, Jackie Marks, on the line. And I don't see Joel Brandwine on the line. So Joel Brandwine's the chair of the Mansfield Airport Commission. He was here last week. Okay, so there are a few questions that were posed to Gale as a result of the site visit, both the site visit and I think some things came up during the last meeting. And I sent some responses to Jennifer. And I will go over those responses right now. So one of the questions was to place the existing conditions with the trail on the plan. So I did in fact place the trail on, and we're talking about the LPA parcel and the connection that goes through the right-of-way, I guess there's a water main there now, but the rail trail right-of-way. And so I did place that and send over a plan of that.
So Bree, I made you a co-host in case you want to show that map.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's get this ready. Good God. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in here. So the airport property is here. As you can see this approach here. It's hard to see. Hold on. There, that's a little bit better. This is the airport approach, this bold line here. The LPS parcel is 141. And I added a single line trail here, existing trail that goes through the 141 parcel and then comes onto the airport property here. Comes around and then runs this way and stops here. At least that's how it was shown on the Norton Trails map that I used. So I added that. Let me go to the next question. See if I can do this. I'll move that over here. Clarify work is up to the vernal pool boundary, wetland boundary. So that question refers to this, the vernal pool on parcel 141, which again is the LPS parcel. And we're talking about this work here. So the shading shows the canopy, the tree canopy. Within this area here, there's probably, maybe there's 3 or 4 trees in there, and then this would be the canopy of all of those trees combined. And so it's likely that this area here is really only tree canopy, and we don't expect to have to go into the resource area to remove those trees.
Thank you.
The next question is inset map of jurisdictional area and clearly show different vegetation techniques. So what I did was on this map, I showed only the jurisdictional areas with the associated clearing in those areas. So you can see here, this is the outer buffer here. This is the 25-foot buffer. So this is a 100-foot buffer. This is the 25-foot buffer. And then the dashed line represents the resource area. These areas here that are flagged are newly flagged. The areas that don't have flags were previously flagged under a previous project. Let me see here. So as you can see, just to recap, the work that's on parcel 428, which is the Mansfield Airport parcel, is part of the yearly operational plan. So this work has already been done. This is maintenance work, so this will be rough mowing in here, and then hand removal in the resource areas. The only new work that we're permitting under this notice of intent is for work off the airport property. So it's not shown here, but 142, it's not shown here because it's not jurisdictional. 142, there's a little bit here, and across the interstate there is another area that's also not jurisdictional. So the only jurisdictional areas are what you see shaded on this plan here. Next question was a restoration plan for the LPS property. So basically there's no work proposed on the LPS property. In the event that, you know, it's not clear where this property line is, and, you know, maybe some debris falls on 141, there will be standing specifications in the contract documents that basically detail to the contractor that they must clean up those areas to as good as or better than before. And we'll also have a condition in there as well to make sure that that trail that's now marked on the plans will not be blocked by any drop to vegetation. What we typically tend to do in this area, and actually I just did this today because I'm preparing the construction plans. This area here will be drop and lop. That's basically what we're going to do is we're going to drop the trees, cut the branches off, and sometimes cut the log up into several sections and leave it there because it's much less, it's a much less impact to this critical area. We will ensure that the trail is not blocked. And,
Okay, so free, you're not accessing that area from the LPS property. You're doing it from the airport or from the rail trail area.
that is correct. And in fact, I did the what we call the haul route, which is the access route for the equipment, comes through the airport for all of this work.
Okay.
Because there's other work here that you can't see that's not highlighted on this plan. So there's more contiguous work here that's not in jurisdictional area, and so it makes sense to access it all from here. So just to add to the restoration plan, the order of conditions, usually in my experience on being on a conservation commission, there's usually a follow-up visit just to make sure that everything's restored. And of course, for the certificate of compliance, there will be a site visit, and the commission will have the opportunity to resolve any issue that arises from the work that's done here. My recommendation would be to have a special condition so that the contractor has to have a post-construction follow-up, so the contractor's still out there and can remove any debris that the commission may see as a result of this. So that's obviously at your discretion. So that's the 4 questions that I had.
I'm just thinking of one right now. It might be a question for Steve, though. Was wetland B the one that had the surface connection to the rest of the wetland?
Oh, sorry, just coming in. Can you put the map back up so I can?
Oh, sorry.
That was the one in the right of way that had the
Yeah, was it B?
Let me zoom in here.
Yeah, I think it's yes, B is the one that has it. If you look at the flags, there's one little tiny section where we don't have the dotted line connecting B1 to B7. That's where it kind of goes through the fence, and it probably goes through a little drainage channel into that larger wetland.
Okay, can you show that connection on this plan, though? Right now it looks like an isolated wetland.
So you're saying the connection from here to here?
Correct.
Yeah, if you send me that plan tomorrow, Bree, I can draw it in.
Okay.
Made it.
I can do that.
Thank you. Those were all the questions I had on this project.
Okay.
All right, so any questions from members of the commission?
Just to be clear, the runway is to the left of parcel 428, is that correct? Okay.
That is correct.
To the west, I should say.
To the west, that is correct.
All right. So, Carrie, you have a question?
Yeah, the clearing near the vernal pool, will there still be some canopy there to provide shade, or is it like total clearing? I can't remember. Was it just a couple trees, or was it a total clearing? Right.
So in that area, if I recall, it's 3 to 5 trees, if I recall. And so the only trees that we're going to be removing are ones that penetrate the surface. So any understory growth will be left in place. We have no interest in doing more work than necessary. So it's really the taller trees. So I can't answer that question, obviously, without being out there and assessing it in the field. Maybe Steve can speak to that if he remembers.
I apologize. I meant to make it to the site visit, and at the last minute I had an emergency.
Yeah, I can chime in. I have been. I mean, I didn't measure exact trees, but there's a lot of shorter trees in that area, and there's a lot of shrubs too.
Okay.
So there'll be vegetation along the pool edge in that area. I think Bree's right, and I think the number of trees coming out there is like 3 to 5. Yeah. Don't quote me on that. I didn't go out there with an inclinometer and measure trees. A lot of the bigger ones are taken out as part of the last project, and I think there's just a couple that are just touching the edge of the airspace that they couldn't see because there were bigger trees in front of them last time.
Thank you.
All right, so I think we can open it up to any other members of the audience that might be wanting to comment. And I don't see any hands up, so I think we can, everything has been submitted for this, right? That we can consider closure on this. All right. So I don't see any hands up, so I think we can entertain a motion to close.
I'll make the motion, close the public hearing for file number 250-1071.
All right, motion made by Dan Doyle and seconded by?
I'll second.
Seconded by Carrie. So roll call vote. Lisa abstained, I believe, or recused rather. And
Abstained from the vote.
what's that?
Abstained from the vote, recused from the public hearing. Yep.
All right. Well, we'll get it down by the time I get there. So Dan Doyle, how do you vote?
Aye.
I'll throw in an aye. Gene?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
Dan Pearson?
Aye.
All right. So we will be issuing a.
Well, you don't have a draft yet, so you'll have the draft for the next meeting, and then it would be issued, shortly thereafter.
Right. Okay. All right, and we are now going back to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now going back to file number 250-1070, the concerning the project at the rear of Eddy Street. Do we have?
Yeah, I don't remember them asking for a continuance, but they didn't. There was a problem with the server, and so they didn't get the estimate for the peer reviewer until last week when I resent it.
Okay.
So that maybe there was an email and I missed it, but we would continue them.
All right. So we can entertain a motion for the continuation of the hearing for file number 250-1070, and I think the February 22nd would be our next meeting.
It would be the next meeting. I don't know if we'll have the peer review back that quickly, or that they would have time to read the peer review.
All right. Well, we can potentially move it forward to the 8th of March.
That seems more realistic to be able to have discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue file 250-1070 to the conservation meeting on March 8th.
Motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by
Second.
Carrie. Roll call vote. Dan Doyle, how do you vote?
Aye.
I'll do an aye. Lisa
Aye.
and Jean,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
and Dan Pearson.
Aye.
Motion carries. So our next item, I believe, is order of conditions for file number 250-1059 that we spoke of earlier in the meeting. Any comments or questions about the draft of the order of conditions that was submitted? Now, the three items that John Chesia brought up are incorporated, you mentioned.
Yeah, I think I have all of them in there. I would reread it just to make sure it captures everything we did talk about tonight. But I had most of those conditions in there for you to review already.
Yeah, you have the inspection as far as the O&M plan goes.
So Jennifer, we're actually, condition 39 references the O&M. We're actually going to attach it.
Yeah, we always do.
Okay. Do we have to wait for that updated language about the liner?
Yeah, I would expect that to come pretty quickly though.
Okay.
And we're just closing the public hearing tonight, so we do have 21 days. So I expect them to get that to us within 21 days so we can issue the permit.
Okay. So then I'd make a motion to, I mean, if anybody has any other questions, doesn't have any other comments.
I think we're potentially ready for the motion.
Oh, okay. I'll make a motion to issue the order of conditions for file 250-1059, pending updates to the O&M language for the liner.
All right, Lisa makes a motion to accept the order of conditions as submitted with the exception of the amendment about the liner, and we need a second.
Second.
Seconded by Dan Doyle. So roll call vote. Dan, you're up first.
Aye.
Dan Doyle, you're up first.
Aye.
I'll throw in an aye. Lisa?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
And Jean?
Aye.
We're not we're not making it here. Jean, we got an aye. Carrie?
I'm going to abstain because I missed too many meetings.
Carrie?
I'm abstaining.
Oh, yeah. Dan,
Aye.
Julian.
Yes, aye.
I missed the movie there. Whatever. All right. So the motion carries for accepting the modified order of conditions as submitted for file number 250-1059.
Right.
So our next item on the agenda
Minutes.
would be so our roll call vote. That was our signature. So we have draft minutes. First item is 111, January 11th meeting. Rather voluminous minutes. I did not see anything that I would alter. Anybody have comments? Changes?
Among the more salient items,
Yep. Go ahead.
page 3, second paragraph down, the line beginning "that is there," it looks like there's an extra "the," so would meet the existing "the" grade. Take out one "the." Well, there's some other things I just to make assumptions. Page 7, bottom paragraph, second line from the bottom. Carlino is sure not what they were saying. Carlino is not sure what they are saying.
Okay.
And there's some other stuff, but whatever. It's all right. We'll all live another day if we. It's
All right, so we consider a motion unless other people have comments with regard to the amended minutes of January 11th, regular meeting.
I'll make the motion. Can you still hear me?
We can.
Okay, I'll make the motion to accept the minutes for January 11th, 2021.
Motion made by Dan Doyle and seconded by?
I'll second.
Seconded by Gene. So roll call vote. Dan Doyle, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. Lisa?
Aye.
Gene?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
And Dan Pearson.
Aye.
So we are now looking at the minutes of January 11th executive session, and Carrie was absent.
Quick question. Do we have to go into executive session to consider the minutes of executive session? Okay, good.
No,
Excellent.
you don't have to do that.
If you decide to read them in open meeting. But you're allowed to change one or two words.
Okay, super. Page 1, paragraph beginning, Alex Weisheit of KP Law attended the hearing. Second line down, the PACES Council, COUNSEL, Council.
Well, they might have had a whole group, in which case it would be a council. Just kidding. Fine.
I don't know. I guess the next sentence, or the two sentences down, it remains up to the court. I mean, I guess that's the SJC, or is it an appeals court, or maybe it doesn't
Well,
matter.
actually, in this case, it hopped courts. So, didn't it
I'm not
get
sure it
elevated?
matters.
Okay.
You're trying
I
to, I mean, you can make some minor changes in the public meeting, but if you're going to have any substantial comments on it, then yeah, you would need to go to executive session. So if you're just going to change the spelling of the word council, that's fine, but.
And they didn't say what court, they just said court, so I didn't think I should add
Okay.
something that wasn't said.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
You might take out on page 3, third paragraph down, second line down, Weisheit responded he was until January 19th rather than the January 19th. Or is there something that's happening on the 19th that's being... Was there there was no January 19th meeting, so I'd just take out the I think.
But where are you, Dan?
Page 3.
Yep.
Paragraph beginning with your last name,
Oh, I see. Sorry.
2 lines down. Responded he has until the January 19th. So either January 19 or January 19th meeting. Was there a meeting of something?
No, that was the deadline.
Okay.
Yeah, just strike the word the.
Yeah.
All right. Any further questions, comments? If not, we can consider a motion to accept the minutes of the January 11th executive session as directed.
I'll make that motion to accept the meeting minutes from the executive session.
Motion made by Lisa and seconded by
I'll second.
So we got competing seconds. I think Dan Doyle beat you by a millisecond. So, roll call vote. Dan Doyle, how do you vote?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Lisa?
Aye.
Dean?
Aye.
And Carrie? Oh, Carrie,
Abstain, yeah.
yeah. Did I use that correctly, Lisa?
Yes.
That was an abstention. And Dan Pearson.
Aye.
All right, next item is our minutes of Monday, January 25th, regular meeting.
Page 3, first paragraph, page 3, 25-foot buffer, not buzzer zone.
That has potential. Okay. How close is F and Z together? Well, they're not that close.
There are some other things, but yeah, I think I had something else that was sort of. No. It's not going to be the end of the world. You know. Don't worry. Nothing. Nothing that big a deal.
All right. If there are no further comments or corrections, we can consider a motion to accept the minutes of our regular meeting on January 25th as corrected. I see Lisa and Dan Doyle were absent, so Dan, how about if you move?
I'll move to accept the minutes of January 25th.
And seconded by?
I'll second.
Motion made by Dan Pearson and seconded by Gene. Roll call vote. Dan Doyle was absent, so I assume you'll abstain. I'll throw in a yes. Lisa, you'll abstain.
Abstain.
And Gene?
Aye.
And Carrie?
Aye.
And Dan Pearson?
Aye.
Motion passes. And we have executive session minutes, also January 25th. Any comments, corrections on that one? Relatively brief bit of minutes. And if not, we can consider a motion to accept these minutes as submitted.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
All right, motion made by Gene and seconded by, I guess it would have to be you, Dan Pearson. Or Carrie, you throw it in, okay.
I'll second.
All right, and Dan Doyle, I assume an abstention. I'll throw in an aye. Lisa, I'm assuming an abstention. And Gene?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
And Dan Pearson.
Aye.
The motion carries. So new business?
We have nothing else.
All right, and old business, nothing else? All right, when do you come off quarantine?
I got my test today, so I should have the results before Wednesday.
Good news.
Glad you made it back safe from the Alps or wherever.
Didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go? Oh, well.
Where were you trying to go?
Just to me.
Yeah. You know, it's already cold down here.
To Maine or to the Alps?
I was just
You know.
joking.
Those are two very different things, that's why I asked.
Well, what is it, Mount Katahdin up there? Is it, did I get it right? That's, could be the Alps. It's at least it's cold. May not be as high. All right, so if we have nothing else, we can consider a motion to it.
In consolation, I would like to wish Jen a belated happy 29th birthday, as I understand it is.
Oh, when was that?
Happy birthday, Jen.
Happy birthday.
Which day was it?
I'm sorry you had to spend it in quarantine.
Saturday.
Oh, it was Saturday.
That's why you had your inspection the week before on the really cold day.
You did that to us.
Because we weren't going to do it on my birthday.
That would have been no fun for you.
Well, all I can say
I
about
wouldn't have been able to go.
Really?
all I can say about birthdays is they get old after a while.
Ah.
Thank you.
All right, we can consider a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adjourn until the 22nd of February.
I'll second.
All right, we'll say a raise our hands for aye and bye.
Bye and bye.
You're good.
Everybody have a good night.
Next time.
Thank you.
All right,
Have a good night.
night.